Welcome to the Good Karma Sport Fishing Podcast. I'm your host, Captain Ryan Van Fleet.
And welcome to the Good Karma Success Coach Podcast. I'm your host, Melinda Van Fleet. Today is Happy Halloween Day.
Trick or treat.
What did you wear?
I wore a bloody shirt today.
You did?
I did.
Yeah, actually that kind of fits with Halloween.
Hashtag mutton face.
Hashtag mutton face. Oh my goodness gracious. And tomorrow is November 1st, so today we are recording our joint episode together, our monthly joint episode together, which is always fun. And you never know what ends up coming out of our mouths, right?
Yep, pretty much.
So we have had a good month. October was a good month, even though it was windy and you didn't get to fish. That was probably the suckiest piece of it, right?
Yeah, it was a very windy October. Very windy. I lost a lot of business, but unfortunately, it was great because I have a good clientele in South Florida. So I was those guys were able to do some rescheduling, and some are coming in November and some are coming in December. Mm-hmm. So it worked out really well, actually.
Yeah, well, it worked out well that, it could be rescheduled.
That they could be rescheduled.
Yeah,
so.
But you've worked really, really hard on your mindset and dealing with that, because it can really be awful to constantly be losing trips and things due to weather, and it's all weather related. So it is definitely relatable to anyone struggling out there that's losing business because of COVID or any other challenges, and there are a lot of challenges out there. We'll be honest, we'll be real.
It was, if I can look back a year ago to and then look at how I would have handled it a year ago, it would have been a mess on how I handled the weather and losing business. Mm-hmm. But I look at how things have been now since I've really worked on it, and things are okay. It's not, I have a ton, it's 100% different because I've just changed my mindset.
Yeah, you've worked on it. It takes practice.
A lot of practice.
A lot of practice.
I don't sit, and it's like, I've got a routine. I got tons of stuff to do, and I'm always working on something. And so compared to last year at this time, it's 100% different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what we were thinking to chat about in this episode is mindset and taking action, because quite frankly, they both go hand in hand. If you have a lot of things that you can keep busy doing, it really helps keep your mindset positive and looking towards the future.
Right. That's it. And basically, for me, I've really, I've got my regular schedule that I have to do and lots of things. But for me, what I did was, aside from all the other stuff I have to do, I took on a new hobby over COVID, and that's tying lures. And that's what I did for a couple hours a day while it was windy, along with this other stuff I had to do. I just took a break, and that's what I did, and I really enjoyed it. So that kind of stuff really helps. And I had to look for something. It's like one of those things I really wanted to do, and I was kind of scared to do it, but once I started doing it, it just has become a nice hobby. Mm-hmm. So it's a lot of fun, and I just I don't know, it just really helps.
So do you have something for this month of November, something new that you want to take action on? Is there anything just one tip? Because what I want people to take away from this episode is just finding at least one thing. If you're really struggling, if you're like, oh, I have no time, the kids, and definitely if you have kids out there with everything going on with COVID in school, my heart goes out to you, and I know Ryan feels the same. But, just find one little piece of joy that can make you happy this month that you can take action on. So it could be finding an hour each week to yourself. Somehow figure it out where you have an hour each week to yourself. Maybe that's something that will bring you happiness and you can take action on. And in that hour, you either just want to clear your mind, or you want to do something fun with a friend, or fun by yourself, or work on something to improve your life, go forward. If maybe it's taking a little time to plan a vacation and come book a fishing trip. There's so many things that people can find and figure out to take action on. So my big thing this month is, and it actually officially starts tomorrow, is I'm starting to work on my first book. So that's a pretty big action step, but it's been on my mind for a very, very long time. And we have our book chapter coming out this month, 11/11, on building unstoppable confidence. And that's in the Brilliant Breakthroughs for the Small Business Owner book series. So both of those kind of are in conjunction. The book series will be launching, and then I'll be working on my first book. So that's my action step. What is yours, Captain Ryan?
Oh my gosh, I don't even know.
Think of one action step, one thing you want to do more. It doesn't have to be fishing. I mean, we talk about lots of things that you should do more. Even if it's cleaning your car. That would be great.
I keep them. I really work
you don't want it. You don't want to be in Ryan's car.
Oh my god, it's not that bad.
Well, some days it can be.
Oh my gosh. No. Oh my gosh. For me, I would say one thing I'm really working on is I'm trying to quit living in the past.
Yes.
I have it used to be pretty bad, but I'm really working on that. That's like probably a number one thing I'm working on is to quit that kind of stuff and to quit thinking about it. And and since I've done that, I've noticed a huge difference in myself. So this morning, for example, I had a very tough day yesterday. Tough. We've had 2 weeks of really bad weather, and for me, I just don't take people to go out there and beat them up. So I could have taken them fishing shallow water, but it's not that time of year. The fishing's kind of shitty in there. So I just I don't force them to go. So I just feel that's wrong. So that's something that in the past I would feel guilty about. That I'm like, I should take them and then get paid like everybody else is doing. But I don't live like that. I don't, and I'm confident now that I make those decisions. So for me, I got to continue working on that. So like yesterday, I had a challenging day.
You had a great day with the clients.
The
clients were amazing.
Clients were amazing.
Very important caveat.
They were awesome. They flew in from Ohio to fish with me, and they were super excited. And I really worked to try to get them a good weather day, and it's been tough. It was super windy, and so we got out there, and the seas were still messed up pretty good. It was definitely a challenge to get dialed in, and everybody had been at home, and it's a full moon, so everybody had wahoo fever. So everybody and their brother and everybody that had a new boat was out there yesterday. So, including all the spear divers. So it just was extraordinarily challenging because, I have new clients. I'm trying to get them dialed in on fish, and I have everybody zigging and zagging all over the place with a lot of new boaters out there. So, in fact, I had a brand new contender decide he was going to cut in behind me. Really didn't know what the hell he was doing, and he ended up cutting and wrapping a line in his prop, and I just let it go. I just let him eat it. So he's got a lure stuck in his prop. Probably wrecked it. But then I hit an underwater submerged tow line, crab line. I don't know what it was. Couldn't see it, and it was submerged, and then that was that.
Luckily, you didn't have major damage.
Yeah, luckily I didn't have major damage. A couple of guys that I've known for many years, they ended up hitting it, and then they ended up having problems with one of their engines, so they had to get back home on one engine. So it was just very challenging. And then I hung in there, and I went the extra distance. Excuse me. I went the extra distance for him, and we caught some beautiful fish.
Yeah, you did really great.
I just did what I could, and I just held up and caught some great fish. So I
And they were
got,
happy,
and they were very happy,
and they were super nice.
and they wanted to catch a wahoo, but it just didn't happen, and I was upset about that. So I got up this morning and I was thinking about yesterday, but immediately I found myself thinking about the day before, and I shut it off, and I switched gears, and I started. Usually, it would in the past I start down this path, and it would just lead me to another path, and I just would be like, it would get me all fired up because I'm thinking about the past and what happened yesterday when I should be thinking about my charter for the day. Because I went to bed tired, didn't have time to shake it. I woke up thinking about it in the middle of the night. So I got up this morning and I was thinking about it. I was upset still, and then I immediately, I don't know what it was in my brain, but I snapped it off, and I'm like, this is what I'm doing today, and I'm doing it different, and I got different people. I'm very lucky to do this job, and I went at it a different route today, and we ended up catching a monster wahoo this morning, and after that it was slow, and then we went and did, and then we hung in there because they're super nice, and we caught some beautiful mont snappers at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
So if I would have continued thinking about the past, I probably wouldn't have been able to think clearly, and that's been one of my problems. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. It's been one of my problems is hanging on to the past and past mistakes and past differences with people, and that's hurt me. It has. It's hurt me. It's hurt me. So I try to find it'll go away, it'll come back, but I started making a conscious effort to forget about the past and quit living in the past on certain incidences and not let it, when I say the past, it could be yesterday, it could be a bad charter from 6 months ago, it could be dealings with somebody, it just could be like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So.
And you've worked very, very hard on this, and I'm very, very proud of you.
Yes.
And I'm proud of you for sharing this with people because you're not alone. There's lots of people out there that are constantly bringing up things from the past. That's where their thought processes go. You know, you hear about couples that have arguments and they're throwing out crap that happened 3 years ago. It's done. It's over. Like, you got to move on. But yeah, it's tough and it takes like a lot of work.
It's tough. It's very challenging.
It's a lot of work.
And
you are retraining your brain. You are literally retraining your brain to recognize that you did that you started thinking about the charters from yesterday and what happened on the water, and recognizing it and stopping that thought process and shifting it to something else.
And shifting it.
Mm-hmm. Shifting it to something else, because to be honest with everyone, I mean, it would drive me crazy. I'm like, why are you bringing up a charter from a week ago? It's over. You will probably never see that person again. Like if it went bad or they're not local or whatever. So 9 times out of 10, like some of this stuff like really doesn't matter. He can't fix it. He can't change it. He did nothing wrong. I mean, that's really also a huge bottom line, that the majority of the time, the major majority of the time, you've done nothing wrong, but you're still reliving what happened. So kudos.
Yep.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, so I'm working at it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting better, and today was a classic case that I was able to. If you have a clear brain, if your mind is clear, you can execute.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
And there's studies and studies and studies and all the spiritual evidence that you could possibly imagine about staying positive and staying on positive railroad tracks. And you can read my blogs, you can go to my website, my podcasts, whatever. There's tons of stuff from myself and also from many other people, many other amazing, talented coaches that are out there. And it's still really tough for people to do. It is. It's still really tough for people to do. That's why there is such a need to be openly talking about things like this, so people realize they're not alone, but they also realize that they can work on it, and over time they can change it. It is possible.
Yes, it is, but you have to be willing to do it. And I was never willing to do it because I didn't think anything was wrong with me. I just like I didn't think anything was wrong.
Well, it's not necessarily that something's wrong with you. So no one should think something's wrong with them.
Yeah,
It's just that you could be happier,
you could be
right?
happier. That you could be happier.
That you could be happier.
Yeah,
So why would you not want to be happier,
right.
right? So you should want to be happier. Like who wants to be
Yeah,
miserable? If you want to be miserable, then you might need
right.
to get some extra
I
help than
know.
this podcast.
Yeah, it's like you gotta be more aware of your surroundings and how to get better. And in order to do that, you have to have a clear mind and to be able to think through things. Like like today, when I'm out there fishing and I'm anchored on a wreck and I'm catching fish, and I had this guy literally see me catching fish. I'm anchored, and he runs up right next to me, and literally I got a video of it.
Yeah, check his Instagram stories
If
if
you
you
want
guys
to,
are listening right
if you want
now.
to see something crazy, and this is apparently a person that doesn't have a clear mind of what's happening because he just wasn't putting two and two together what was going on and not being safe. That was the big thing.
Yeah, it's a safety
It
issue.
was a major safety thing today, and he was very lucky that I was in the past that kind of incident I would have lost it on that guy in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And I've learned now that it's not worth it. I did what I needed to do. I had him on video. I went up to the bow. I stood there. I didn't yell because what yelling does, it can turn to something else. So the best thing you could do is I had my learning from the past. I had my camera out. I was up in the bow. I was videotaping him. He could have yelled obscenities at me. I wouldn't have said anything back. I just would have shook my head and I just would have kept videoing him. And then he left, and he had left with a major tangle and no fish. So,
That's karma for you.
and that's karma. Now, that guy should have known that if somebody's anchored on a spot, a tiny wreck, that number one, if somebody's there first and they're anchored, you don't run up on them and start yelling at them, or you don't try to drift into them and create a wreck. And that's been happening out there. So the golden rule is you go up to the boat and say, hey, you mind if I'm going to make some drifts through here, but I'm going to maintain my area and I'll do it safely. If the guy says, yeah, go ahead, and 9 times out of 10, the guy's going to say, yeah, go ahead, as long as you don't mess up the guy's fishing. So, but not everybody's as nice as me, and he was very lucky that it was me and not somebody else out there, because it probably wouldn't have went very well for him.
Yeah, you've seen some altercations on the water, and
I've
I know
seen many altercations.
your bait guys have too.
Many altercations. I've
Not in recently, let's be honest.
it's been recently
in the past few months.
Yeah, recently it's
So
been
temperatures
altercation.
are
Yeah.
high,
Yep.
and that's just something too for people to be aware of. As sometimes it's best to just kind of, take your phone out, get that video, and then roll on.
Yep.
So
Make the video, and then you
Yep.
just and then if you need to turn it in, you turn it in. You send it to the Coast Guard. They have a division for this kind of stuff, and they'll handle it. Anything that has to do with boating, like today, that guy was like should not have did what he did.
Mm-hmm.
So he can get in a lot of trouble for that because could have created a major accident.
Yeah.
So
it's a big boat too.
It was a big boat, and I was like, yeah, he had no business trying to drive it by himself, and what he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what he was doing, to be honest with you. I guess we all got a good laugh. So
yeah. Well, again, I really appreciate you sharing that, Ryan.
yes.
That's very cool. So we're going to leave you with our closing thoughts for November, which is think of something to take action on. Something big, something small, medium size, something personal, something for your business, something for your family, something for your health, whatever it is. But keeping busy, having something to positively focus on will really help change your mindset. And in addition, all those actions help build your confidence. And as you know, we talk about confidence, and I'm going to be writing about confidence. That is definitely my first book, and the series of books that I will be writing is all about confidence.
Yep. And confidence goes, I mean, guys, building your confidence is going to do so much for you out on the water, and you're going to watch what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Watch
It's a
things.
foundation. I've had
Yeah,
a couple interviews lately, and they're like, well, why is confidence so important? Because it's a foundation. It's a foundation for your life. When you feel confident, you can do anything. And we all want to do things, right? Whatever it is. Whether you want to have a multi-million dollar business or just have a happy home, all those things take skills and confidence. And you can work on those over time and build them. We can all do it. Everyone can do it. And I know those are things we work on. So we're
yep,
happy to share.
all the time.
Mm-hmm. So you can reach out to me on Instagram. It's Melinda _ Van Fleet. I'm also on LinkedIn, Facebook. My private Facebook group is called Good Karma Vibes, and my website is Good Karma Success Coach. I really appreciate everyone listening. We know that you have busy schedules and not everyone's driving like they have in the past. So any podcast listen is highly appreciated. And we also appreciate ratings and reviews.
Yes, and also too, in addition, we really appreciate you guys downloading the app. We're working really hard at this, and it's just Melinda and I.
Yeah.
So,
And we have a developer.
and we have a developer.
Yeah, so there's like 2 other people, I'd say.
And 2 other people
but
involved.
Ideas, reviews. Ryan's got some things he's going to work on with it this week. And I think the app is really cool. So I actually get really excited when I hear that you guys are using it.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's awesome.
I'm constantly pulling up, looking at the wind. Constantly.
Yeah, and you'll probably do a fishing report tomorrow.
Yep, I'll do a fishing report tomorrow. I'm fishing on the Sea Hunter tomorrow morning for a couple hours. So, and then after that, I'll do a fishing report.
Yeah, cool.
Yep.
And how can they get hold of you?
You can email me at goodkarmaryan@gmail.com, and then you can follow me on Instagram at goodkarmasportfishing _FL _keys.
Yep, and your website is?
And it's goodkarmasportfishing.com.
Awesome. Well, everyone have a beautiful month. We really appreciate you listening, and we love to hear your successes. So feel free to email us or give us a shout out on social media. Have a great one. Thanks.